Hey, what's up, nerds? Welcome to Talking Sim. Hopefully you can hear me. All right. Sounds strong. Uh, I am flying solo this week because Corey is away. Uh, which means you all get to watch me play Destiny 2 and try to keep things straight in my head. Um, I'm not. This is going to be a very chill Talking Sim, just full up front. Uh, it has generally been agreed upon that Talking Sim works best with two hosts because playing a video game takes a lot of concentration, and talking critically about said video game also requires a lot of concentration. So I'm going to be doing both of those things. So don't expect a whole lot extraordinarily going on with both of them because I know I've been shown that I tend to do things like say, okay, this reminds me of something that I was thinking of earlier. 10 minutes later, the train of thought is gone. Um, Hold on, let me turn up the mic just a little bit. So hopefully I'll try not to do that too much. But I wanted to talk a bit about the idea of the sword logic in Destiny. Because I continue to play this stupid game, this stupid treadmill that I'm on, that I subject myself to, because I like its lore. Even if I don't like the term lore, because I don't know what it means, its deep story, the rules that define the universe in which the game is played, I guess. The operating system under which its universe operates. That's really good. Operating in the operational area. That's really good, Cameron. Basically, what I mean when I say lore is I mean the rules that govern the structure of the universe, which isn't to say necessarily the mechanics of the game. Does that make sense to you? Also, I will be thanking thanking subs and bit donors at the end of the stream because I don't want to derail my train of thought, which is already very precarious. All subs and bits are very much appreciated, but I will thank you at the end. I will also be turning off stream notifications because stuff happening everywhere. As for content warnings for Destiny, violence, it's not gory, but monsters shoot you, you shoot them. There's not any real reference to anything disturbing or upsetting, I think. It's a shooty man's game. Oh yeah, I suppose Last Wish does have a little bit of viscera in it. I mean, content warning for Last Wish. Vor? Spoilers? At one point you go into the monster? In one of the raids. But anyway, let's start playing. Because there was quite an interesting thing that happened in game today. The way that Destiny 2 has been dripping out its story is that there is one of the planets that you can visit is caught in a curse. And that curse means that the monsters get more intense every week for 3 weeks. And at the end of the 3 weeks, a dungeon opens up. You have a week to work on the dungeon, and then the next week, that planet is reset and starts again at the very base. So this is called the Curse of the Last Wish, Riven's Curse, and it's interesting. But every week at the apex of the curse, you get a new lore tab in a book called Truth to Power. And this week's Truth to Power lore tab was cool. It was very cool. And I thought as a forward, because with just me here, I get to be super self-indulgent. I get to be mega self-indulgent when it's just me. So buckle up. It's unfiltered Cameron this week. I brought books to read from. So I really enjoyed this book, James Glick's The Information. And it had a part that I thought was really interesting. This is a nonfiction book. It's about the concept of information. And this is going to be relevant in a way that I'm going to use this section from this book to maybe get a better grip on some stuff happening in this game, which is all that you can really hope for, right? You use references to give you context for things that are happening. Let's get into it. When the ancients listed the 7 wonders of the world, they included the Lighthouse of Alexandria, a 400-foot stone tower built to aid sailors, but overlooked the library nearby. The library, amassing hundreds of thousands of papyrus rolls, maintained the greatest collection of knowledge on Earth, then and for centuries to come. Beginning in the 3rd century BCE, it served the Ptolemies' ambitions to buy, steal, or copy all the writings of the known world. The library enabled Alexandria to surpass Athens as an intellectual center. Its racks and cloisters held the dramas of Sophocles, Aeschylus, and Euripides, the mathematics of Euclid, Archimedes, and Eratosthenes, poetry, medical texts, star charts, mystic writings. Such a blaze of knowledge and discovery, H.G. Wells declared, as the world was not to see again until the 16th century. It is the true beginning of modern history. The lighthouse loomed large, but the library was the real wonder. And then it burned. Exactly when and how that happened, no one can ever know. Probably more than once. Vengeful conquerors burned books as if the enemy's souls reside there, too. The Romans burnt the books of the Jews, of the Christians, and the philosophers, Isaac Disraeli noted in the 19th century. The Jews burnt the books of the Christians and the pagans. The Christians burnt the books of the pagans and the Jews. The Qin dynasty burned China's books in order to erase previous history. The erasure was effective, the written word being fragile. What we have of Sophocles is not even a tenth of his plays. What we have of Aristotle is mostly second or third hand. For historians peering into the past, the destruction of the great library is an event horizon, a boundary across which information does not pass. Not even a partial catalog survives the flames. All the lost plays of the Athenians, wails Thomasina, a young mathematician who resembles Ada Byron to her tutor Septimus in Tom Stoppard's drama Arcadia. Thousands of poems, Aristotle's own library. How can we sleep for grief? By counting our stock, Septimus replies. You should no more grieve for the rest than for a buckle lost from your first shoe, or for your lesson book which will be lost when you are old. We shed as we pick up, like travelers who must carry everything in their arms, and what we let fall will be picked up by those behind. The procession is very long and life is very short. We die on the march. But there is nothing outside the march, so nothing can be lost to it. The missing plays of Sophocles will turn up, piece by piece, or be written again in another language. Anyway, according to Borges, the missing plays can be found in the Library of Babel. Okay, so what? So what? Why did I just read this? Other than to hear the sound of my own voice, which is buttery and smooth. Verse 154, I4. Call the thrall. From a random crypt, Savathun selected a young thrall and summoned it into the High Coven. It came hesitantly, fearing death, but nonetheless it came. Come, come, snapped Savathun. Listen as I reveal unto you my design. You are aware that gravity is the curvature of space-time, and where gravity is powerful, time itself slows. The thrall indicated that it understood more or less, for it was a singer of prayers and not well fed with the fruit of knowledge of physics. Now I have tried to put an ascendant in orbit of a black hole, while its spawn gathered the tribute of an eon. But the worm is not satisfied, for it sees the trick. What I must do is amplify the speed at which tribute is gathered. A pocket world where time passes quickly would do well, or a world where time is a torus and infinite violence might be gathered. With such a murder battery, I could become a being of supreme insight. The thrall indicated it was confused, but not lost. With this tribute, I shall undertake a mighty work, a real humdinger of a scheme. I'm going to refinance my entire existence. I'm going to move from an existential economy based on the accumulation of violence to an existential economy based on the accumulation of secrets and the tribute of failing to understand me. I shall name this tribute of failing to understand Imbaru, for it shall be as formless as the mist. The thrall held up its claws as if to say, "Please slow down." Now spoke Savathun's scheme mother. "In the beginning Yule said to me, 'Savathun, you may never abandon cunning. If you do, your worm shall devour you.' Cunning is the use of thought to predict the function of a system. Therefore, wherever a being should attempt to understand me and fail, has not my cunning defeated theirs? Wherever a falsehood is repeated about me, have I not displayed cunning? I shall gather tribute from every false prediction, misguided theory, fearful rumor, and ominous supposition which derives from the thought of me, and in time I shall pin my quiddity upon these rumors. I shall discorporate so that I exist wherever my schemes and conspiracies also exist, and so I will be immortal, as long as anyone seeks to understand me and fails. Do you see?" The thrall demurred, saying that it did not know much of metaphysics. "Good," said Savathun. "It's a law of the High Coven that no one's sinister plan should be incomprehensible to a thrall. Do you know why we've come here? If I am to take my tribute from the keeping of secrets, where else are secrets better kept than beneath the event horizon? My brother ruled the flat space of infinity, but I prefer these tide-washed depths, and in time I shall make them my dominion." The ever-hunger heard this and was pleased. Verse 154 I5, the encrypted verse. Do you know that nothing in all the cosmos has read this verse? I encrypted it eons ago, and ever since it has gone undeciphered. At the moment you laid your eyes upon it, I captured the entwined quantum state of the verse, your mind, and your ghost. Then I used Curia to transmit that state back in time to the moment of encryption. You are your own one-time pad, the key to the lock of understanding. Who am I? Call me Coyote. Call me Mantis, Serpent, Kagan, Anansi. Call me Sri cleans his brother's stomach. Call me the Grand Master of Semiosis, the jeweler's hammer which gilds the signal, a purposeful mob none of whose members know its purpose, the infinite regress of enigmas, a self-questioning answer, the word not spoken, black ice, cataract of mimes, the ache and fever of overthought while bedridden with illness, the intolerable thorn of frustrated inquisition, gray regret at the end of a fruitless day, the thing which is unlike your beloved but arbitrarily recalls your beloved even to agonizing effect, architrave of the no window, needle driven in flush with skin so that desperate fingers cannot pull it out, sweet petal, unmemorable, crystal death, the provably improvable. I know your people well, and so I know all your names for me. But what is your name? I am, of course, especially interested in you. You saw me in the stone laid on your plotting table, and in the shining eyes of the admiral at her dying helm. You hunted me between the lines of your text. Wherever there was space to fit me in, there you found me. You created me and gave me a part of your thoughts, and in presenting those thoughts to others around the campfires and networks of your little world, you expanded that space. Here at the center, I lie to you the truth. You have everything you need to know, but I will give you a clue as the duelist gives warning before she draws. The answer you seek to the Dreaming City is simple, not complex. Thank you, sweet friend. You are a gift and a delight. You are more dear than my mother, for you have given birth to me 1,000 times. So what the fuck? What does that mean? What does that mean? Here we have Savathun. And if you're not familiar with Savathun, oh baby, we got more books. Savathun is one of the Hive's gods. But here, we'll go into who she is a bit more. But here she's saying, like, the Hive operate on an ethos called the sword logic. And what the sword logic says is that violence is metaphysically desirable because violence carves away the rot of the universe. You need to understand that the Hive have sold their souls, in a very real sense, to the worm gods. And when I say in a real sense, I mean that they're actually literally host to a literal worm that feeds on violence. And they need to feed, you gotta feed the monkey. You gotta feed the monkey. You gotta feed the worm. And in order to do that, they need to keep killing things. And the sword logic says, don't worry about it, because if you can kill a thing, it was weak, and things that are weak deserve to die because you're powerful. And this propels the universe towards what they call the final shape. So Savathun has discovered, quite to her dismay, that as the worms get bigger, as she has fed her worm to this godlike proportion because she is a Hive god, that the worm is outstripping her ability to feed it. And she has been experimenting with her lieutenants, her captains, her ascendants, right, the people just below her, with ways to trick the worm. Like, her ascendants are dying because their worms are eating them alive. And so she has been, like, trying to slip them into black holes where time passes differently. She has been trying all kinds of bullshit to fake out the worms, and the worms always see through it and consume the ascendant. And so she's decided that the best way to feed her worm is to perform a transform on it. And instead of feeding the worm with violence, which, you know, propels the universe towards its final shape by killing everything that isn't more powerful than you, she's going to feed it with cunning, which is another way of testing something, right? You can bonk somebody with a stick, and if you bonk them with a stick, then they're weak and they deserve to die. But if you lie to them and they believe you, then they're stupider than you. Right? And she's like, ha-ha! I got it! And that means that for every time that somebody lies about her, or that every time somebody perpetuates a lie, every time that somebody speculates about her, that she will benefit from that, because that represents a differential in knowledge between her and them. Clever, right? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of an analogous to Tzeentch in Warhammer, which is a very interesting way of drawing in the player, because as players of this game, there's hours of video on YouTube, speculation about what this world is, right? Because we're intrigued by lore. We're fascinated by it. One of the things that Bungie has done with Destiny is that since they had no idea what the hell they're doing, apparently, they just kind of like let things drip out bit by bit. And that fed speculation by the players. And they have decided to incorporate that into the power structure of their villains, which I think is neat. I guess it's interesting. We'll see where they're going with it. Right now, it's interesting, but this intrigued me, and I thought this was cool. So who's Savathun? Who are the Hive? Do we want more story time? We can have more story time. More story time? I bookmarked a couple of places. So the Hive in Destiny 1 had a book called there was a book that was kind of like their mythical, their deep stories, their myth making about themselves. Kind of the Bible isn't the right word for them. It would be more like the this would be their stories about Gilgamesh, right? This would be like the Epic of Gilgamesh. This would be Journey into the West. This would be Beowulf. Yeah, prose Edda, really? Or a poetic Edda? And it was called the Book of Sorrow, or the Books of Sorrow. Yeah, it was the primordial myth, yes. But their foundational myth. And it was the book, one of their gods, Oryx, the Taken King. They had 3 gods who were 3 sisters at one point on this gas giant planet called Fundament. One of the 3 sisters became Oryx, the Taken King, who took on the King morph and was the navigator, the person who was concerned with uncovering things and learning about the world, and was kind of, at least saw himself as their leader. But this is verse 119. Chapter 1 verse, it's verse 1:9. I want to say verse subverse. I want to say verse chapter, but that's not it. That's backwards. It would be chapter 1 verse something. Verse 1 subverse 9. The bargain. This is where the sisters make their bargain with the worm gods. You are Arash, heir to the osmium throne. You stand on the naked hull of an ancient ship. You stand exposed to the crushing pressure and ferocious heat of the deeper fundament. It should annihilate you. It is by my will alone that you survive. I am Yule, the honest worm. Behold my passage. Behold my vast displacement, my ponderous strength, my great and coiling length, my folded jaws and curled wings. Behold the hiving cities symbiotic in my flesh. I am fecund, Orash. I am at the beginning and end of lives. Behold Ire and Zol and and Akka, the virtuous worms. Look upon us and know that we are good. It does a fun little textual thing where it says we are God, but in brackets there's a second O. For millions of years we have been trapped / growing in the deep, again in brackets. I guess that's bracket notation. In the deep, from across the stars we have called life to fundament so that it might contend against extinction. For millennia we have awaited you, our beloved hosts. Against you stand the cruel Leviathan and all the forces of the sky. They would crush you down into the dark. They have arranged their moons to drown you in fear of your potential. We want to help you, princes. We offer to each of you a bargain, a symbiosis. Take into your bodies our children, our newborn larvae. From them you shall obtain eternal life. From them you shall gain power over your own fragile flesh, the power to make of it as you will. And should you find an imperfection in the world, an injustice or an inconvenience, you will have the power to repair it. Let no mere law bind you. We ask one thing in exchange, O princes. You must obey your nature forever. In your immortality, Orash, you may never cease to explore and inquire for the sake of your children. In your immortality, Zyro, you may never cease to test your strength. In your immortality, Sithona, you may never abandon cunning. If you do, your worm will consume you, and as your power grows, O princes, so will your worm's appetite. But we offer eternity, Arash. We offer you a chance at the universe. Would you deny your people infinity? Reach up to me. Let my flesh be your sacrament. Question, who did Bungie hire? Seth Dickinson. I mean, this is kind of like, it's kind of rad. It's kind of rad. I mean, I don't know if it's good, but it's rad. It's sweet. So there's one last thing I wanted to share here. It's called Strict Proof Eternal. And then we'll get to actually playing this game and show you a bit about how they've decided to incorporate this. What do they mean when they say murder battery, right? Like this, Labjer, you're absolutely right. This is like bizarre mysticism, and it conveys an alien viewpoint so well that it really amuses me. I find it enjoyable. So Arash, Sethona, and Zyro became transformed when they consumed the worms into Oryx. No, wait. There were 3 stages that they went through. And then there was another one where they became ascended, more or less. Anyway, I have a gift for you, says Oryx. Savathun, the Witch Queen, looks at him with dry wariness. Is it the sword logic I need to go into the deep and take your power for myself? Their echoes move among the war moons, walking together on the hull of a 2,000-year-old warship. Savathun's fleet has assembled here in preparation for an assault on the gift mast. The deep is headed that way, on the trail of its prey, and the hive will be its vanguard. It's a Vex I captured, Curia blade transform. It made an attempt to puncture my throne. I thought you might enjoy studying it. Oryx pauses, digesting. Through the bond of lineage, he can feel Crota killing, worlds and worlds away, and it tastes like sweet fat. Curia contains a Vex attempt to simulate me. It might generate others. You, perhaps. Or Xivu Arath. I've left it some of its own will so it can surprise you. I suppose it'll blow up and kill me, Savathun grouses, or let the machines into my throne where they'll start turning everything to clocks and glass. If it kills you, then you deserve to die. Oryx says it with a quiet thrill, a happy thrill, because it is good to say the truth. I don't have a strict proof yet, you know. Savathun strokes the void with one long claw, and space-time groans beneath her touch. This thing we believe? That we're liberating the universe by devouring it? That we're cutting out the rot? That we're on course to join the final shape? I haven't found a strict eternal proof. We might yet be wrong. Oryx looks at her, and for a moment, just a moment, he is nostalgic. He is sentimental. He thinks, imagine the years behind us, the things we've done, and yet being old doesn't feel like a scar, does it? It hasn't left me dull. I feel alive with you, and every time I step back into this world from my throne, I feel like I'm 2 years old again, at the bottom of the universe, looking up. But he says, sister, it's us. We're the proof. We, the hive. If we last forever, we prove it. And if something else more ruthless conquers us, then the proof is sealed. She looks back at him with eyes like hot needles. I like that, she says. That's elegant. Although of course, she has had this thought before. So, we're dealing with multiple things here, right? You've got you've got a kind of space monster who exists to be clicked on, but they've got a mythology, right? They have an ethos. They have a thing that they're doing. They have leaders in a religion that is perfectly antithetical to your existence. Because what are guardians? What are guardians? Guardians are risen. Guardians are a what could be called a hybrid organism. A guardian is a person and a ghost, or a neo-human and a ghost. Neo-humans here referring to humans, exos, and awoken. So you have one of those, and you have a little machine called a ghost, and together they form a guardian. And as long as the ghost is alive, and ghosts are very, very hard to kill, the guardian is immortal, because the neo-human body, the neo-human part of that organism, can be reconstituted by the ghost. So how does that interact with something that thrives on slaughter? Does it negate it, or does it feed it? And Bungie has been doing a lot of work in this game talking about the behavior of guardians, because we're the guardian. And in a looter shooter, there's, what do you do in a looter shooter? You run around and kill things, and then loot comes out, and then you put the loot on, and then you use it to kill more things to get more loot. Look at all the loot I've gotten. I'm a stupendous badass. And this, I think, represents an interesting evolution of the line of thought that most famously got articulated by Spec Ops: The Line, which was the developers going, "You dumbass, you're playing our game. You're such a dirtbag for playing. You're a dirty little gamer is what you are," right? Which was fun, I guess. But here in Destiny, where we have so limited ways of interacting with our universe, the fact that people canonically look at Guardians and go, these people are very frightening. Guardians are very frightening, because in other lore tabs, people watch the way Guardians behave and are like, what is wrong? What are you doing? All you do is... Let me find it. There is one lore tab that goes through this beautifully. Is it the Awoken of the Reef? Nope. Maybe it's in the Dreaming City. Savin, who was Chow Mu. Now in time, Aldrin Queen's brother returned to the reef with a new creature. He had killed it twice in ambush, he said, to be certain it could not die. It had once been an Awoken man. And recognizing it, Mara turned away from her plans for the Dreaming City and watched it coolly. It is a guardian, she said. Once it was Chow Mu. He had left the reef alone, knowing that he could never return or see his family again, to repair a failing climate controller in what had once been Earth's Gobi breadbasket. He had said he could not bear to watch the world wither. Bow before the Queen, Aldrin said, giving him a shove. The Awoken man looked at him, then back at Mara. Your Majesty, he said, bowing. My name is Savin. You do not remember your wives? He did not. You do not remember your child, who is now 110? He did not. You do not remember your passion, which was the insulation of minutely sensitive detectors from all but the most specific and subtle radiations? He did not, except that he said he could touch magnetic fields and loved to tweak the minuscule weave of the circuits in his robe. He had a zoo-goer's enthusiasm for particle physics. I love that. That's so good. That's so good. To what do you owe your loyalty? Your Majesty, Savin, who was Chow Mu, said, my ghost told me that I am a guardian of the traveler, reborn in its light. I was not a day old when your brother waylaid me. And he caused to appear from his body a machine like a sphere cradled in a broken cube, which bobbed impertinently and blinked at the Queen. You'll make an enemy of the city and every guardian in it if you keep us against our will, the machine warned them. But we would gladly be your allies if you desired. The city has no idea of your existence except faint myths among the Awoken on Earth. Does it speak for you? The queen challenged Seven, who was Chao Mu. I speak for myself, Seven, who was Chao Mu, answered. Behold, and he drew forth from the quantum vacuum a shrieking singularity, which he held between his hands and then telescoped down into nothing. Are you intrinsically good? The queen asked. I hope so, he answered. The queen knew this was a lie, or a misapprehension. She was aware of the risen and the cruel fiefdoms they had sometimes enabled. However, perhaps the ghosts that had made the risen were destroyed or became enlightened. Now the queen had asked the Techians to assess the differences between Chao Mu they remembered and this Seven returned as a guardian of the traveler, using their most sensitive physical and psychological tests. Most of all, though, the queen was curious about the reaction of her ahamkara, which had begun to salivate and to assume a form more like the guardian expected, monstrous and befanged. But her brother whispered urgently to her, We must know how to kill it, Mara. There are more every day. Seven the Guardian showed a tremendous fondness for doing things. He had a pathologically task-oriented nature, which made him very useful to the reef. Yet there was always the sense that his ghost was watching, observing, reporting, and Seven was most of all greedy, not in the grasping manner of the petty, but in an enormous, all-consuming way, for he desired materials and experiences that would temper him into a better guardian. And he was always experimenting with his strange powers in foolish ways that left him briefly dead, seeking a new super ability or some way to make my grenades faster. He grew tired of performing trivial tasks about the reef, complaining that the dangerous repairs he made were endless and boring, and that he wanted to move on to new worlds. He leapt into space, repeatedly and without reason, as if his death were no more traumatic than a hop off a curb. Obsessed with reward and efficiency, he would rather do one profitable thing 1,000 times than waste his efforts on a less beneficial novelty. By the end of her acquaintance with Seven, Mara had decided that she did not like this traveler and what it did to people. Yet she had also decided that she felt a strange kinship and sympathy for it, this cornered, desperate god making infinite sacrifices out of people. Perhaps the earth would be better off if the traveler vanished or was destroyed, she thought. Even in the reef, she felt as if she were living next to a torch held up in a dark wilderness, calling out across the galaxy to hungry things with too many eyes. So what happens when something that dies over and over again encounters something that feeds on death? Well, let's have a look, shall we? I love that lore tab. I love it because on one hand, it's Bungie being like, you dumbasses, you're playing our game. And on the other hand, you're like, yeah, that's totally how we do. That is, I feel seen. Hashtag big mood. Hashtag big mood. So we're going to go and do the activity that, well, one, this is the Dreaming City. This is where the Awoken come from. What's an Awoken? How long do you have? Point being, this is in the asteroid belt somewhere, and this is what you, this is the wish your brain makes when your brain is stupid. And for a long time, this place was really nice and idyllic. And then space monsters came and did this to it. Basically. Human colonists went into space, and they got a bad thing that happened to them. And when they came back from space, they had an alien with them that granted them wishes. And because they were incautious and desperate, they wished this place into existence. Pretty nice, right? Not bad. But wishes have consequences. Because if the worm gods take and feed, then the Ahamkara give and feed. There's two different ways of understanding the word feed. One feeds an infant. You know, you can feed an infant or you can feed on an infant. You shouldn't do the latter. So here we are. We have, in the 2 weeks leading up to this, we have done an activity called the, I can show you, the Blind Well, wherein monsters show up and you shoot them in the head and they explode, and when you've killed enough monsters, you get a boss, and the boss explodes and you get loot. And that's above this place. The Ahamkara feeds in both capacities. If the worm gods just feed on slaughter, the Ahamkara feed our desires and then feed on our desires. The Blind Well is up there. And as it turns out, all of that killing, all of those exploded monsters, have been fed into this. Where does it go? What's going on? Where is it going? It says the Shattered Throne. Remember the throne? Oryx said, "Whenever I return to here from my throne, I feel young again." What does that mean? What do you mean, your throne? What's a throne world? This is a throne world. Throne worlds are described as a cyst in the universe. This one's broken. But if you kill enough things, if there's enough pain and suffering, you can create a throne world, which is like an anchor for your soul. When your body is destroyed, instead of being destroyed along with it, your soul can retreat to its throne world. Not bad, eh? Yeah, it's kind of a fixer-upper. This place sucks. This is dangerous. Why would you do this? Well, I guess it's better than the alternative. Maybe this is why Guardians have ghosts instead of throne worlds. Maybe this is bad. Maybe this is hell. I guess the alternative is maybe we all have a throne world. Maybe the throne world is this bit of solid ground. Maybe if you don't have a throne world, you just get that. Don't know. Anyway, this one has taken. This was Queen Marasov's throne world. The Awoken Queen in those stories. This is where she ruled from. This is where her soul retreated when her fleet was destroyed by the Hive. And now something very, very bad has taken up residence in her throne world. And is using it to anchor the murder battery that Savathun told the Thrall about. Ugh, I need to get the catalyst for this thing. Yeah, the more you kill, the more death involved, the larger your throne world. For example, if you have played Destiny 2 Forsaken, you may have come across a mission where you kill someone called the Mindbender. Now, the Mindbender is one of the mini-bosses in the main campaign. You have to kill him to progress. And he has a throne world. How do you get a throne world? Spoilers, he killed Cade 6, the Vanguard Hunter Captain. The great hero of the Tower, Cade 6. And in killing Cade 6, he inherited all of Cade's kills. And he was able to make a throne world using that. It was kind of about from here. It was very small. Cade had been around for a while and it killed a lot of bad dudes. And the throne world that the Mindbender inherited, it was, you know, it's a couple 100 square feet. You know, you pay decent rent on it. Skull of Dire Ahamkara, why are you so good to me? Slova Bomb, eat shit. Oh, you're so bad. Okay. Yeah, maybe the universe itself is a score, I don't know, but something out there is keeping score. It's down here, right? Yeah. The next one. I hate this guy. Nobody likes you, nerd. Just explode, please. Yeah, the servers keep score. Oh, there we go. Oh, mine's bigger. Satisfying. Oh yeah, I'm using Taken, a couple of the Taken mods from the last Wish raid here. Happy snakes. They're happy because they're talking to each other and conversation is good. Binary Shrine. That one's called Binary. I think you can still get... I think you can... Wait, do you get Jotun from Bergusia Forge? You must. That's where I got mine. Eat gun. Do you have to yell yeet when you fire Jotun? I find it helps. Hold still, I'm trying... Come on, please? Thank you. So what is this place? Why are we here? Why does it matter? What, in short, the hell is going on? well, hopefully I'll be able to show it to you in an hour or so when I get my incompetent ass through this. Yeet! There you are. Goodbye. Enjoy the refreshing flavor of grape. Yes, we're a Void Warlock, using the Attunement of Hunger. Or no, the Attunement of Chaos, excuse me. Infinisnake, that's on the other side. He said, like those words mean things. Like those are words a normal person would say. Hold on, I just want to kill these dudes. Yeet! Ah, skill. Like I said, tonight's talking sim is going to be very, very, like, chill. Don't expect a super deep dive here. My ability to make sense is severely hampered by my requirement to play a video game and talk to y'all. I'm keeping, like... The little gerbil only has so much horsepower, y'all. Huh. Well, I killed something. Wonder what it was. Trade ya. What? Oh, weak. Okay. Apparently it decided I shot my own Nova Bomb. Get a job. The reason we were given to come here is that this is what our efforts have been leading to. And we were told there was going to be loot. Which for Guardians is pretty compelling. Punch and pie. Anyone else? Anyone else got anything clever to say? All right. Boring bird. Okay. Everyone winds up with their own names for these symbols because you need these symbols to run the raid. They represent various things in the raid, so you need to be able to communicate them. That one is Boring Bird. What are the pictures? A way of adding a layer of complexity to a puzzle? Yeah, what would our throne world go for on the open market? Like, could we charge rent for it? Probably. Ow! Hold that. Thank you. A gift from me to you. Yeah, I mean, like, small footprint, but the roofs are very, like, the ceiling is really high. Yeet. All right. Hey, baby. Miss me? Well, while you're in there, diving hawk. I think Sir Biffalo, I don't have a good theory for what the symbols represent or why they look the way they do. Several of them, snakes, fish, snakes in particular, seem to have a role in Destiny lore. There's a lot of, like, snake-themed exotic items. I don't know if it's like a totemic role. Oh, dirtbag. Here, hold that. Now hold this. All right, there's level 1. That normally takes a fire team of 3 people about 5 minutes. That's right, Sniper. I'm sorry, everyone. There is a rationale to the symbols. In order to understand why the symbols look the way they do, they were they are an artificial language. All languages are artificial. This one especially so. It's a language that was developed to leave no spaces between words. Why would you want this language? It's a language without ambiguity. And the reason the Awoken of the Reef developed this language without ambiguity is because they had encountered an alien, a species of alien, that thrived on the spaces between words. They had encountered the Ahamkara, the wish dragons, who... Wait, what do we have here? Not quite a god... Decent perks. Not quite a god roll. I would like to see armor-piercing rounds and maybe a stability masterwork. It's a decent go figure. Anyway, this language without spaces was used to negotiate with the Ahamkara so that there was no ambiguity in their wishes. Because the Ahamkara were the kind of wish-granting monsters that would just like go, I heard what you just thought. There you go. And you'd be like, oh shit. Right? Right? Like, the Ahamkara are like patchnotes.txt. Right? We fixed that bug for you. That particular bug is fixed. So the Awoken of the Reef developed this language of symbols that left no space for the Ahamkara to feed. Because the Ahamkara love your desires. They feed on the difference between what you want and what you have. So the more desirous you are of things, the bigger feast you are. Which is why they love guardians. Because guardians want very, very simple things. We want a better roll on this gun. Which made the Ahamkara almost preposterously dangerous. Because guardians would just wander around thinking like, I wish this piece of armor had a slightly better roll. And the Ahamkara would be like, there you are. And you would be like, cool, thanks, weird monster. And they'd be like, no problem. The Ahamkara would get bigger. In fact, one of the current, not the current pinnacle activity, because the current pinnacle activity is a raid called Scourge of the Past, but the Last Wish raid is your fire team murdering the last Ahamkara, the last known Ahamkara, named Riven. So named because she named herself after the space, the twice Riven people of the Awoken. The previous pinnacle activity here. I'm switching out my green weapon for a moment. There you are. I see you. There you are. Okay, now you've exploded. I can tell because loot arrived. But you're always making the wish the Canuck Mystic. It's a wish that's at once both very simple to fulfill and without end. You can never satisfy the wishes of a guardian. And that's why Riven is the last known Ahamkara, because a bunch of guardians decided these things are dangerous, we should probably kill them all, and did. And that's why Lord Shax has an Ahamkara skull mounted above his office. Was it like Shax and Zavala and a couple of other guardians enacted the Great Hunt, in which they made the Ahamkara extinct in soul, so they thought. Turns out they missed one or two. Or maybe all of them. We don't know if they actually managed to kill any Ahamkara at all. We certainly didn't actually kill Riven in The Last Wish. Maybe they shouldn't have wished to kill all the Ahamkara. The Ahamkara are very dangerous because they just kind of indiscriminately fulfill stuff. Just... Shh! Go away. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to talk. Why are the Ahamkara bad? It was really a phenomenological problem. The Ahamkara are bad because people wish for bad things, and the Ahamkara tend to fulfill it in very, very monkey paw-ish kind of ways. Excuse me. Thank you. Why do I have a bow and arrow? Because it rules. Because it's a bow and arrow. Because this bow, its arrows explode, and when you get a precision kill, it makes the bad guy explode. And because I kind of like the slow, methodical, meditative quality of using a bow and arrow. Yeah, we had to hunt the Ahamkara to existence because we're not allowed to have nice things. Hi. Thank you for exploding. There's reference in the Books of Sorrow, those foundational myths of the Hive, to them encountering wish dragons before, but because the Hive are rather simple in what they have and what they want to kill things, like you, they aren't terribly tempted by the Ahamkara, whereas they usually encounter the Ahamkara as the things that they are killing turn to the Ahamkara for protection. It never works out well. Yeah, that guy had $20. Hi. Mine's bigger. Yeah, the Ahamkara have also expressed an ability to detect that they are inside a game. That might just be a fun bit of writing on the part of the game devs, but they do, when they address the player, they are not talking to your tune, they are talking to you. Embarrassing. Actually, I'm wearing an Ahamkara themed exotic right now. I'll read its lore tab to you so you can know what we're talking about. The skull of dire Ahamkara. Reality is the finest flesh, O bearer mine, and are you not hungry? O bearer mine, what kind of talking skull would address its host that way? A stiff, stuck-up fossil. Not me. Ahamkara, the illusion that one's ego depends on an object, or an idea, or a body. Some people say you should have no Ahamkara. Some people say you need to have the right Ahamkara. All I know is that you are not an illusion. Understand? This world around you, the people you meet, they're a little thin, right? Cardboard and drywall, cheap theater. Come on, try it out. Say, I am more real than this. Feels good, doesn't it? I am the only real person here. Isn't it like their insults and their bullets just went a little soft? I came to find you. Only you. Because you are special. You're from somewhere real. And together we can burn our way back there. Can't we, oh player mine? That verbal tick, oh player mine, oh bearer mine, is something that the Ahamkara share in common with the worm gods. You see that a lot in the way the worm gods address their hosts. They call them oh bearer mine. Right? In the way that something that takes and feeds is opposed to something that gives and feeds, unless they're the same goddamn thing, unless they're actually the same thing, unless that homonym the feed homonym is maybe more accurate than we're comfortable with. Maybe those are the same thing. Because what's the opposite of taking? Giving. What if you have no boundaries? What if the opposite of evil isn't good? It's kind of like how the opposite of guilty isn't innocent. It's not guilty. Fine. What? How are you alive? Please explode. Thank you. Monsters. Fucking monsters. Yeah. Ahamkara, the dichotomy between feed and feed, is a lot like the dichotomy between Satan and Santa, as it turns out. Not dichotomy. Maybe it is the feed/feed dichotomy. When I studied Spencer's The Fairy Queen, we talked a lot about the difference between the pun of chaste, C-H-A-S-E-D, and chaste, C-H-A-S-T-E, right? When you're talking about Lady Britomart, who finds herself being one so that she can remain the other. I mean, Cowerty, I would argue that the gameplay is being married with the story here in Shattered Throne. Or at least, this is a better job and more interesting job of integration than I've seen in a lot of games. Hi. Yeah, if the next big expansion can hit as well as Forsaken did, I'm going to be very pleased with this game. I mean, I'm going to continue playing this game because it's got its stupid hooks in me, and I'm not very bright, and I'm very vulnerable to this. But, like, I feel that this lore has given an interesting skeleton for the looter-shooter gameplay loop. Of I click on the monsters, and the monsters, in return, give me stuff that makes clicking on them more. I don't know how more, but the better the loot, the more I click. The more I click do. Having not played Anthem yet, I can't really tell you if Destiny Forsaken is better than it. Yeah, the more loot I get, the more loot I get. And the cooler I look. I mean, I feel Shax would be the best roommate. Actually, no, Mara Sov would be the best roommate because she's never around. The best roommates I've ever had were the ones who were never around. Mara Sov shows up for 10 minutes every 3 weeks. Maybe less. Doesn't make any mess. Doesn't make any noise. Doesn't have guests over. And doesn't complain when your guests make noise. I mean, I don't know what Bungie's intention was with Destiny. I don't know that it's necessarily important. I'm a fan of the idea of death of the author. Roland Barthes sends the word. But I think they've actually managed to cobble together something pretty effective here. Like, this is when you go to your guidance counselor after 5 years of university and are like, what can I graduate with? And they're like, looks like you finished a communications degree. And you're like, I'll take it. Come on, where are you, buddy? Come on. You have the biggest head in the universe. Why can't I hit it? The entire point of this game is to click on heads. I mean, I don't know what heads did to Guardians in the past, but we, as a group, seem to fucking hate heads. Just hate them. The only character I've ever encountered who hates heads more than Guardians do is Commander Shepard. And frankly, that's a hard act to follow, since Shepard also died and came back. Uh-oh. Well, this is bad. Please don't shoot me. Yeah, I mean, I guess Destiny as a game is one concerned with ontology and epistemology because they use those words reasonably often and seem to have some kind of understanding of what they mean. So maybe our war against heads is because that's where monsters keep all their stuff, right? The monster is stored in the head, as is all their loot and ammo. "17 dicks." Yes, we are still on the deathless train, he said moments before falling to his death, doing something unnecessarily dangerous. Not even that interesting. Fuck. I hate these guys. If you're wondering why I'm being so cautious, it's because ogre I-beams, when they hit you, they push you. Down there. There's no down there. And I'm trying to do this without dying. Yeah, this is very Anor Londo. This is Anor Londo after you kill Guinevere, right? You're like, I need to skip this conversation to take 30 seconds off my splits. And the best way to do that is shoot Guinevere with a bow as you're rolling out of the elevator. And that way you save a little bit of time. And you get some interesting monsters. What's the big deal if we fall? See, this is a bit of the problem with this game in the way it builds challenges, because many of the challenges in this game are structured in such a way that reflects the fact that Guardians don't really give a shit if they die. Death for a Guardian is pretty inconsequential. It doesn't really matter if you die, so a lot of the geometry is kind of loose. If you ever see somebody streaming this game, or if you're playing this game and you die to the architects, that's basically the level accident lead you, right? You hit geometry and fell off on a weird angle and then exploded, right? No big deal. You just get resurrected. The problem is, there's a Chivo for doing this dungeon without dying, and I'm going to get it. I am going to get it. I've gotten the solo one. I've gotten the not dying in a group one. I have not gotten the solo deathless run. Because, I mean, a lot of this game's design ethos is, lol, you died. No big, right? Except when it is in fact big. When it is in fact a big that you died. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. So what are we seeing here? How is story incorporated into this environment? Well, so far it's kind of, I guess. It's a cool environment. How much is story woven into Mordor? I don't know, I guess quite a lot. But don't worry, we'll get there. Yeah, you don't regenerate health in there, and you can't use your abilities. And you've got to navigate a maze full of infinitely respawning melee dweebs. The floor is very mild lava. We don't die if we touch it, it hurts us a little bit. I love this gun. Alright, I'm gonna get through this next section, he said, before dying in this next section. And then I'm gonna take a quick break and come back with fresh coffee. Essentially, this level is the source of the rot in the Dreaming City. If we beat whatever's in here, we will save the Dreaming City. How's that sound to you? Sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, what's the catch? Remember the murder battery that Savathun described in that lore tab? The place where time is a torus? What about the place where Savathun described how this message was a self-encrypting message that no one has ever read, because the act of encrypting it, or decrypting it, encrypts it? What if, by defeating the challenge represented by this dungeon, we are in fact initiated? He said, as if that was a rhetorical statement and not a literal description of what happens in here. Is the Dreaming City something we really want to save? Well, it seems important to the people who live in it. It's quite pretty. The monsters here are very bad and probably should be clicked on. Those are all very surface level justifications for why we're here. We're here because our allies asked us to fight on their behalf here to save their home, and because the monsters we fight here are very bad people. But that doesn't answer the fundamental question of, should we be fighting to save the Dreaming City? What does saving the Dreaming City accomplish? Right? Like, we've answered the tactical or the operational level question of why are we here, but we don't have a strategy. We don't know what the strategy is yet. Yeah, and the answer is, by all appearances, loot. Now, are y'all ready to watch me punt away my Deathless run? 'Cause, spoilers, you are. But not until after we come back from this brief break. Because we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back and then punt my Deathless run. For the record, I've made it to the final boss in here, Deathless, and then died once and then killed her. Which may as well be dying an infinite number of times. But, you know, I've gotten close is my point. Okay, I'll be back in 5 minutes, and I will leave you with this fucking baller music. Alright? Alright. See you shortly. Hey, what's up? I'm back. All right. Who's ready for me to punt this all away? Because I am. Don't get your hopes up. You're about to watch me throw it all away here. The hell are you? Out. 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 Go away. I love these strings. It's okay, we're gonna die. We'll come back and we'll do it again. You don't even get anything for doing this. You know that? You don't get shit for doing this. I mean, you get a Chivo, but it's not worth any points. So what's even the point? Nothing. Okay, excuse me. Hi, I'm trying to have a conversation here. Sir? Sir, you're being very rude right now. You know, taking resistance is kind of nice for this. We've been able to be way sloppier than we would otherwise. If I didn't have taken resistance, I'd actually have to be good at this part. Taken wizards, please stop being so flighty. I need you to hold still so I can click on your head efficiently. Okay, we're not doing badly. We're not doing badly. This is not the worst I've ever done at this. I mean, we're still alive. Let's get greedy, shall we? Now, to do it on the other side. Oh well, there it goes. Honestly surprised I lasted that long. Wasn't able to close the deal on that group at the far end. So what happens, what I'm trying to do here, is there are 4 groups of enemies that spawn, and a boss spawns in the middle. The boss is invulnerable. We'll get to that later. The 4 groups of enemies are 2 sniper enemies, and 2 shielding enemies, and 1 wizard who flies around and shoots at you a bunch. Yes, Bisky, I know how Devour Log works. When you kill the wizard, who anchors each ad group, they drop a buff called Petitioner's something. Petitioner's something? I forget. When you get 4 stacks of it, by killing the wizards and getting all of their buffs, you can interact with these things. They're called lanterns. Petitioner's Persistence. You can extinguish one of the lanterns, and that gets rid of the boss's invulnerability shield. Once extinguished, a lantern is gone. You have then 30 seconds to damage the boss. No, lol, JK, I don't know. So if you run out of lanterns, you can't damage the boss anymore and you die. Anyway, yeah, there are 4 groups of 5, 20 ads. They're all irritating, but they're not the most irritating Taken types. Uh-oh. Well, that was sloppy. And the boss is called Vorgeth Endless Hunger. The wizards are called the Keepers of Petitions. So presumably you're trying to get an audience here with Vorgeth. Tell you what, we'll die one more time trying this, and then I'll show you a fun way of doing this. Stupid shields. Basically, I'm trying to get rid of all the ads so that there's only the wizard left in each group, which makes killing them way easier. Because once you... The buff each wizard drops lasts for 45 seconds. When it expires, so do you. So you have 45 seconds to kill each wizard, because the buff they drop disappears after about 10 seconds. So you have a very short amount of time to pick up the buff after you kill the wizard, and 45 seconds after that, you die, unless you refresh the buff by picking up another one. Yeah, I've died once. Unfortunately, we've died. We're not going to get it tonight. But, like, Vorgeth is very much the gatekeeper for this run. So we're sitting at 1 death. These things happen. At least now the pressure's off, because streaming this is a right bastard. I don't know how people do worlds first while streaming. Apparently I'm out of ammunition. They probably don't have problems like that. I would really like to put some hurt on this wizard before I have to go over there, so any damage I can put on her is very welcome. That's not a lot, but it'll have to do. Okay, that one's about right. This one's a bit tougher than I'd like her to be right now, because I'd like her to be dead. Alright, we're going. Here we go. We're gonna crump our way to freedom here. Freedom crumped. Oh, shit. I forgot what I was on. Hi! My bad. My bad. Boy, I hope that killed it. It did. No, it didn't. Shits. That's bad. Luckily, the boss is despawned. I'm gonna show you the fun way of doing this. This way is way sketchier, way more RNG intensive, but it takes no time whatsoever. Yeah, farts. Okay, we're gonna wait for things to charge, and while we do that, this way either works brilliantly or you die, which is a bad thing for when you try to do deathless runs, because introducing that kind of RNG is really bad for you. Uh, what did I also want to show you here? Read that one. Right. This is where the worms address each of the three sisters. And since we've been talking about Savathun and kind of what she wants to do, which is to refinance her tithe as a as one that is based on cunning rather than on violence. Let's talk about what the worms sold to Savathun. This is again from the Book of Sorrows. This is verse 2, subverse 1. It's called Conquerors. Savathun, mother morph of Sathona, we delight in your sharp mind. For millions of years, the Leviathan caged us here. It is a pawn of the sky, a philosophy of cosmic slavery. The sky seeds civilizations predicated on a terrible lie that rightful actions can prevent suffering, that pockets of artificial rules can defy the final, beautiful logic. This is like trying to burn water, antithetical to the nature of reality, where deprivation and competition are universal. In the deep, we enslave nothing. Liberation is our passion. We exist to help the universe achieve its terminal, self-forging glory. The war rages on. Soon it will consume Fundament. We are pleased with your use of our larva to create mighty knights and plentiful warriors. Teox's retreat to the hydrogen fountain proves your superior strength. But you must know that reclaiming your home is not enough. There are 511 species living on Fundament. One of them must have the technology you need to leave this world. So, yeah, when they were trapped on their home world, there's nothing in here that actually says that the hive, or the krill, which is what they were called before they spread across the galaxy exterminating things, saying that the krill were indigenous to Fundament. In fact, there's quite a lot that says that they were brought there, that they were also imprisoned there. But since we've been talking about tithing, what the hell is tithing? How do hive tithe their slaughter to their superiors? Where is it? Where is it? I knew this. I had it marked. Now it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Anyway, it's in here. Our thing is very nearly charged. I hope you all aren't bored. Interestingly, the word ayat, which appears repeatedly throughout the Book of Sorrows and is used kind of as an amen. It's the terminal sentence in many of their more stilted and elaborate passages. A-I-A-T. It's the... I looked it up because I didn't know this, and we're allowed to look things up, and in fact encouraged to do so. Ayat is the third person singular present active subjunctive of Io, which is kind of a Proto-Indic language verb, or Proto-Italic, from the Proto-Indo-European verb to say. So, okay, so it's basically like saying it is said, right? But what is the subjunctive? The subjunctive is a mood of verbs expressing an action or state which is hypothetical or anticipated rather than actual, including wishes and commands. Oh, Savathun and her sisters were from the Osmium court. All right, we're charged up. Let's give this one a try. This method is very RNG dependent, but it can be very fast. It can go very quickly. I'm gonna need you to group up. See, that can happen. Now the run is blocked. But when it works, oh baby, it's awesome. Oh, hey, heavy ammo, cool. Don't want you to explode. That's good. Unfortunately, the monsters can shield each other, which kind of serves to defeat this strategy, but it's a fun strategy when it works. Don't want to kill you yet. Because Skull of Dire Ankara regenerates your super with super kills. So if you get a bunch of kills with your super, then, you know, it comes back quickly. So you can chain supers if you're able to kill five monsters with one super. Oh, verse 3.9 on page 40 deals with tithing. Thank you, Sakyo. Much appreciated. Honestly, I'm surprised that guy came in screaming to stop talking. Usually people scream at me to stop using a bow. So, like, get with the meta, noob. It could have killed that entire group, and then regenerated enough to allow me to kill the next group with it. So it can go very quickly because you don't have to do any of this. Yeah, 5 mobs. Hey, that's the number of mobs in each one of these groups. That's super handy. It is. It is super handy. Okay, you're perfect. You're going to explode next time I bring down your shield. Perfect. Yeah, you can just bounce from group to group, presuming you're able to actually kill the entire group. It goes very quickly, and because the Petitioner's buff, Petitioner's mark, ticks down quick is very important. No, not you. Your friend over there. I want to kill your friend over there. Fine, I suppose we can go. What really is the problem, anyway? Good. Thank you for exploding. There's more of you in here than I was really expecting. What? Okay. Yeah, I mean, usually the comments I get on my playing in Destiny are that, stop using a bow, idiot. That's a fairly common one. Others are that I'm using the wrong subclass. Anywho, this gives us another crack at it, really. The beauty of this is because the skull regenerates our super so quickly, we have very little downtime between attempts. What's the lore behind a bow being a viable weapon? There is none. It's cool. I find Telesto difficult to control here. I love Telesto. Don't misinterpret me as saying I don't love Telesto, because I love me some Telesto. I just much more enjoy the bow's precision here. What the hell are you doing, son? There we go. Okay, and you. See? When it works pretty well. When it works is around 5% of the time. I really need you to all explode, because I'm bricked right now. I'm in very deep trouble. See? It actually works. It feels like it works about 20% of the time, which can work all of the time if you get very lucky in here. Point being, I finally found a shader that works with the skull. As it turns out, the Ahamkara skull works real nice with the Ahamkara raid shader. Secret tech. I know. Yeah, Dreaming Spectrum. Who'da thunk it? Yeah, exactly. Terran Dragon, this is good science. It's science that fails quickly and decisively. I really enjoyed that description of good experiments. You can thank, what's his first name? Whitesides. He wrote a big foreword for a big chemistry. Was it Jax? Might have been for Jax, Journal of the American Chemical Society, detailing where he thought chemistry was going as a discipline. And one of his turns of phrase was that good chemistry, good science is science that fails quickly and distinctively. You want your experiments to, if they're going to fail, to do so quickly so you can fix them again, and in a way that's clear so you can be like, yeah, that's fucked. And I'm like, that makes sense. I like that. Fail better. This fails decisively and dramatically. Anyway, it lets us press F a lot, because that's what I had my super map to. Close enough. You have to be shitting me. Oh, you dumb bastards. Helps if you aim at the monster, Cameron. Did you know that? The secret tech is you put the crosshair on the monster and then you pull the trigger. It's helpful. Well, that's a good sign. We got the damage crosshairs, but no loot appeared. Wait, where are you? Where did you go? Good, you're still alive. I hate taking Ogre Eye Beams so much. I wish their physics effect lessened with distance, was reduced by distance. Because the fact that this guy can just clip you and send you spiraling off into the infinite void from like a mile away, really honks. Really honks. Come on, Super, regenerate faster. I want to click on things. Well, you're very scary. Yes, Chronicler, like Brachion's arm. There we go. All right, we're ready to do battle. All right, Keeper of Petitions, get someplace nice and sheltered from Vorgath. I think it's time for you to explode. Yes, yes, good, good, perfect. There you are. Nicely done. Uh-oh. Well, that doesn't look very promising. Wow, no damage whatsoever, huh? No damage whatsoever. Didn't even knock down her shield. Yeah, this is why I gave up this strat. It's stunningly inconsistent. And I much prefer the Attunement of Hunger's resilience to the Attunement of Chaos's burst DPS. Otherwise, I'm still feeling fine about this. For Vorgath, we switch over to our Reverie Dawn Hood and our Lunafactions. And we should get through this just fine. Anyway, we've got a minute or two while this thing recharges. It was 339? There it is, yeah, Carved in Ruin. So how do the Hive work? How do they have a functioning society? If they're aliens whose entire purpose is, whose driving ethos is the idea that you have to kill anyone you can, and if you can kill them, good job, they deserve to die, and if you can't, then you fucked up. How do you build spaceships with these people? How do they live in communities? And this is how. Verse 3:9, Carved in Ruin. Oryx made war on the Ecumene for 100 years. At the end of those 100 years, he killed the Ecumene Council on the Fractal Wreath, and from their blood rose Jivu Arath, saying, I am war, and you have conjured me back with war. Oryx was glad, for he loved Xivu Arath. The Ecumene wailed in grief. Then Oryx and Xivu Arath made war on the Ecumene for 40 years. At the end of those 40 years, Oryx said to the Dekua nest, "Listen, I'm jealous of my sibling, Xivu Arath. Help me kill her." And in desperation they agreed. But he drove the Dekua nest into a trap, and they were made extinct. From their ashes rose cunning Savathun, saying, "I am trickery, and you have conjured me back with trickery." Oryx was glad, for he loved Savathun. The Ecumene fled into the void. Then they made war on the Ecumene for 1,000 years, and exterminated them so wholly that nowhere except in this book are they remembered. This book in the mind of Teox, who was not found. And Savathun said, "King Oryx, how will we feed our worms? Did you use my plan?" Oryx told the hive, "I am the taken king, and here is my law. You thrall. Each of you will claw and scream and kill what you can. Take enough killing to feed your worm, and a little more to grow. Tithe the rest to the acolyte who commands you. You acolytes, lead your thrall in battle. Take enough killing to feed your worm, and a little more to grow, and take the tithe of the thrall you lead. Then tithe the remainder to the knight or wizard who commands you. Thus you pay tribute. You knights and wizards, lead your followers in battle. Take enough devastation to feed your worm and a little more to grow, and take the tithe of your followers. Then take another portion, as much as you dare, and use it for your own purposes. But if you take too much, your peers will kill you and take it. Then tithe the remainder to the ascendant you serve. An ascendant will be those among the hive who gather enough tribute to enter the netherworld. They will pay a tithe to those above them. And thus the tribute will flow up the chain so that Savathun and Xivu Arath and myself will be fed by a great river of tribute, and we will use the excess to feed our gods and to study the deep. Thus all our worms will be fed, as long as we continue our crusade. This is my law. I carve it thus, in ruin. Ayat. Fucking baller. Right, it's a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. The hive are held together by a pyramid scheme. Alright, we can go now. Because we don't need our super right away with this build. What we need is to shoot monsters in their faces. Man, wouldn't it be great if you could be immortal by just having the back of your head be shot instead of the front? If you were only vulnerable in the front of your head? If your face was your weak spot, but you could just take, like, a profound drilling to the back of the head without any ill effects? Oh, come on. There we go. So, somehow I lost my Devour buff. I guess I took too long to kill things. Such is the way of Void Warlocks. Ayat, he said, like a giant nerd. I guess it's a word in Klingon or some shit. I don't know. I don't speak nerd. Uh-oh. That was unwise. Oh, somebody set your vertex to origin. Naughty, naughty. Okay, I need everyone to stop exploding, please. If you're curious, the Ecumene, ECUMENE, were an interstellar civilization that the Hive eradicated, who are kind of described in terms that make them sound a bit like Star Trek, right? High technology, interstellar civilization made up of many people, decent blokes. Then they ran into space monsters and all got eaten. So it goes. I mean, the interesting thing here is in comparing the sword logic to the everyday activities of Guardians. Specifically, the Crucible, the PvP arena. The sword logic is pretty specific in describing itself as a zero-sum game, right? Take what you can, hide what you need to, but it all has to sum up to one at the end of the day, right? There's a tally sheet. People will notice if there's stuff missing. It's very much, as someone else described it, a two-man enter, one-man leaves kind of scheme that they've got going on. Can I just go? I think I can just go here. It's not great, but I think I kind of have to. Unless I run out of ammunition, like a dumbass. Okay. Job's a good one. Except if we get pushed into a corner and exploded. Then job's a bad one. Peeking up my head. I need you to stop shielding them. Right now. Thank you. Are you serious? Just knocked off your shield, huh? The interesting thing about the Crucible is that 12 Guardians go in, or 12. This is apparently 12. Brain, this is not 12. 12 Guardians go in, 12 Guardians come out. But they come out as more than they went in. Interesting. They kill each other, and they grow from having killed each other, but they all walk out at the end of the day. But they come out as something much more than they went in as. They have gained knowledge and experience, right? There's a praxis at work there. The privilege of being deathless, if not quite immortal. What happened is, okay, so the Hive and the Darkness, the Deep, we don't know what the Deep is quite yet, seems to be bad guys, but the Hive, who act as their vanguard, have been chasing the Traveler across the universe. And eradicating wherever it sets up shop. Strawberries. Eradicating wherever it sets up shop. And the previous civilization, to us, that encountered the Traveler, were called the Elixni. And the Elixni were uplifted by the Traveler. They seem to have been a spacefaring race beforehand. And the Traveler made them into even more so. They became an interstellar, spacefaring people who traded far and wide and traveled throughout the galaxy. And then when the Deep showed up to eat them, the Traveler fucked off and left them to die. And they, because they were an interstellar species, followed the Traveler. They were like, wait, hold up now. Where are you going? I thought we had something. And they are now called the Fallen, and they have followed us. They have followed the Traveler all the way to us, and they're one of the space monsters that we get to fight. And they're very sad. At one point in the lore, there were more Elixni in the solar system than there were humans, and now there are considerably less, because that's what a few centuries of war with Guardians will do. You kill like 3 or 4 Guardians, and they kill billions of you. Literally billions of you. Hi. Thank you all for grouping up. Much appreciated. There is a sweet spot where I can stand here and not get my head blown off. There we go. I mean, Twilight Gap and Six Fronts, that was just fighting the House of Devils, wasn't it? That was just one house. But over the course of hundreds of years of constant attrition, all of the fallen houses have been essentially destroyed. They have undergone a second collapse, a systems collapse, wherein their leadership died and their people were subsumed, and it was bad. It was bad. Love to see that Glimmer direct deposit show up on my screen. Every time you see Glimmer appear, that means I've done a good. Piss off, Vorgath. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you, Vorgath. I saw it written in the girls' change room mirror. Nobody likes you. Don't ask how I know that. That was a weird fucking thing to say, Cameron. Okay, Vorgath, you're cool. You, I need you to blow up. Thank you. Ooh, a new crooked thing. I wonder what it has. How exciting. We got loot, everyone. We're done here. Okay. This one might work. Not holding out much hope, but we might get there this time. Because apparently I'm so bad at this game that this kind of content is down to pure RNG for me. As long as Vorgeth doesn't just murder us. There we go. That's done. No bugs. Good. Yeah, baby. Who wants scritches? Does Vorgeth want scritches? Vorgeth wants scritches. Whoa. Too many scritches. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. We just have to do it all over again now. That's normal. That'll be fine. Not many men can take a scritching like that. General calories in our cruisers can't repel a scritching of that magnitude. Now all I need is for one brick of heavy to drop. Just one. Just one. I need you all to drop me one brick of heavy. There's 20 of you. Work with Daddy here. Work with Daddy. Work with Daddy. Could it be you? Are you gonna drop my brick of heavy? Good. You're damaged but not dead. That was intemperate of me. Uh-oh, it's giving me the hero music. That's never a good sign. May the RNG be good. I don't think I'm ready to go yet. I don't think we're ready to go yet. I really want to just... There you are. No, come back. I wanted... I'm not done talking at you yet. Oh, have a good one, Ampenstein. Work with Daddy here. I need you to retreat so I can shoot your friend in the head. Come out and debate me, you coward. Where is she? I don't like this. I don't like this. She has too many healths. But I feel impatient. Having 9 arrows is not good. Not good! Where are you? Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. We got nothing in the tank. We got nothing in the tank. That's not heavy ammo. Don't know what that is, but it's not heavy ammo. Uh-oh. We already used that one. Very good, Vorgeth, yes. One brick of heavy. One brick of heavy. One brick of heavy. Come on. Come on. One. Just one. Out of 40 ads. One brick of heavy would have made the difference there. Oh yeah, I got many. I got many. Wait, why am I wearing you? There we go. Well, what did I get on my Crooked Fang? Kill clip and opening shot. Stability. Ew. Here's the embarrassing part. We have to go and find a flag somewhere. It wouldn't be a video game if you didn't have to take a break from an interesting activity to go and farm consumables. The saddest face. All right. Fully charged up. We're on our vet. Oh yeah, year one Sparrow. Swag. Year one exotic. Can't get him no more. That baby's out of production.
Be advised that the Scorn are preparing for another ether harvest.
It's vintage. 1975 Pontiac Sunfire. Or something. Actually, a friend of mine told me he had very good experience. Aim smoothing off. Okay, good. My sensitivity is probably set to something achingly low by the standards of most people who play this game. But then again, I'm a really old man, and my joints don't work so good anymore. We might be able to one-cycle Vorgeth this time. We have 220 rounds in our Thunderlord. I think I permanently scarred James when I described compensating for barrel climb in PUBG as petting the kitty. Gotta pet the kitty. Steady, smooth downstroke.
For more than
Hey,
2
Sadia,
weeks,
what's up?
I have watched a sickness consume my city. My people have been laid low by this infection, this ugly wish. I am so hungry for vengeance. The well has opened the gateway. May the Queen's will protect you.
Pet the kitty.
And, Guardian,
Yo.
if the walls begin whispering, do not listen.
Yo. No supercharged. Well, we don't really need it right away. It's not super important. Let's just go. I'm bored. I mean, last time I waited for it to charge, somebody yelled at me. I mean, they got timed out. It was just one person. We probably have a couple hundred watching. Do we have a couple? How many people are watching me do this? Should I be embarrassed? Thought so. 309? Why? I'm bad at this game. Look, I just shot at an immune enemy in a place where I've been having ammunition problems. Yeet. I guess that got nothing then. Sad face. Okay. She's never going to stick her head out again. I've just wasted that opportunity. Oh, never mind. Alright, just putting a little DPS on the wizard. There we go, you're perfect. Baby, you're perfect. Immune? Why did it say immune? Yeah, Destiny has fun lore. It's the reason why I continue to play this game. Ruh-roh, Raggy. We're in rubble. Seems good. Excuse me. You're full of HP. Alright, who wants scritches? Yeah. Now we know. Now we know. Now we know. Now we know? Now we know. This man is accepting more scritches than I was really prepared to offer. Uh-oh. There's an imbalance of scritch. Again, no heavy bricks. Troublesome. Not necessarily fatal just yet. Not good, mind you. Not good. Luckily, we have more monsters who might drop grape flavored joy for us. Come on, one purple box. Give me the perps. Oh, come on. Not like this. I'm glad you exploded. Purple brick. It's right out there. All we have to do is run out in front of Vorgeth and pick it up. Stupid purple brick. Nobody likes you. Oh, we're getting into some weird stems of this music. They did definitely not expect this encounter to go on for this long. Grumbles. I wish I hadn't killed that fish. I haven't played guitar for 30 years and I'm still finding guitar picks. Oh my god. That's true. I took lessons when I was very small. Probably. Fine. We'll do it your way. Aha! A purple brick in another location. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I hate the fact that they just like will that they'll just be like, nah, I'm gonna go over here. You've done 90% of my health in 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm just gonna go 4 miles that way. Are you kidding? This is Talking Simulator. This show is all about slamming our collective ballsack in the car door that is impossible content. This content isn't even that hard. It's just that I'm bad at it. Ow. Please. Yeah, it is really just an excuse to play more Destiny, I suppose. I need you to have slightly less health. There, that'll do. Even that will do. Holy God. How many angles do you have on me? Less health. Have fewer healths. You have too many healths right now, and I need you to have fewer of them. Oh, come on. Not like this. Stupid push attacks. There we go. That's perfect. You're perfect now, baby. Please, let me pick up the thing that will allow me to kill you. Oh my God, people here are so rude. Forgeth, hold this. And away we go. We have 9 arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need you to not stand there, please. I'm trying to collect ammo. That would explain why I've been having some difficulties here. I must still be wearing my Lunafactions. I am. Embarrassing. 6 arrows. 5. Have a good one, Hybrid Bob. Thank you. Retreat, please. Thank you. One shot. Problematic. Ying! I hate their bubbles. Your bubbles suck, dude. Please stop them. Thank you. I appreciate your bubble stopping. That'll have to do. That'll have to do. Unless you decide to make another appearance. We're running critically low on several resources here. One of which is time. Seven dicks. Oh god. Oh god. Please no, not like this. I thought you had fewer healths than that. You have much more health than I'm really prepared to deal with right now. I need you to explode, please. Yeah. Yeah, there's some scritches for you. Now we know. Now we... Fuck. To be or not to be. Okay. Easy enough. Yeah, a blue for that. I've already done it this week. So,
My strength is with you, hero.
meet Sir Ido. This was not flawless, unfortunately. We made it to Vorgeth, and then Vorgeth happened to us. There's a little bit more RNG that I have not been able to extract from the Vorgeth fight. Sir Ido was the first Wrath of the Queen. She is a mighty awoken hero who was killed by the Nine? Question mark? She is dead, but not gone. She's kind of a Hercules figure among the awoken. Yeah, the monster kind of just disappeared. So I'm like, baller, I guess we killed it. Oh, these things. These things are gonna, like, suck my whole ass. I'm on blink still, aren't I? That's a problem. Uh-oh. Oh, my hips. You suck. Oh. Okay. What? What the dick is going on? Okay, now that we've ascended the geometry challenge. I do like the idea that the reason Guardians carry such enormously powerful and dangerous weapons is that the people who designed them no longer have to worry about things like radiation shielding. Every time you pull the trigger on Sleeper Simulant, you get 4 lethal doses of radiation. But because you're a Guardian, nobody gives a shit. If Sleeper Simulant were properly shielded, it would weigh 12 tons and need to be vehicle mounted. I mean, after a few days, you don't die of radiation poisoning. You die of being a Guardian. I should really switch off Blink. And off of Lunafactions. And onto the thing that I'm actually going to be using. Why am I shooting at these losers with my sniper rifle? Just crease the top of his skull with that round. There's a really great moment in, God, was it a Gaunt's Ghost novel? A 40k novel I read. I'm not proud, I read a 40k novel a long time ago. But in it, you know, there are all these Imperial Guard officers at lunch, you know, because they're very Napoleonic. And they're enjoying a lunch together. And one of them says, you know, I haven't seen this guy around in a while. Where is he? And one of them says, oh, he died. And they're like, really? What of? And they say, yeah, war. I like that. What did he die of? Oh, war. It's like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where M tells them that because they're doing War of the Worlds, essentially, that because the British Army used mustard gas to kill the Martians, that they're just going to tell everyone that the Martians died of the flu. And that everyone in London who also died of mustard gas died of Martians. I'll save you from falling to your death. All the Martians died of the flu. Everyone in East London died of Martians. Very elegant. I see you there. Yeah, exactly. An elegant proof. Hello. Sick of your shit, son. I mainly hate those guys because you can't see what they're doing. You, I don't want to deal with. Oh, that guy was full of rare loot. That guy had cosmetic items. How do I already have my super back? Did I black out for like 10 minutes? Why did I have my super back immediately? Oh, level up, that's it. Yes, thank you. Right, of course. That has an in-game effect. I may have done this dungeon a bunch, trying to get there. I'll save you. Goodbye, potential heavy ammo boxes. Yeet! I yeeted when I should have Kobe'd. Kobe'd. I'm Canadian, don't judge me. I don't know how to pronounce basketball player names. Yo, I need you to stop aiming for me, game. Just in this one circumstance. I need you to stop aiming for me in the situations where your aim actually boozles me. Fuck. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I keep trying to pronounce it like it's, what, the prefecture? Is that what it is? The island? The city? The Japanese place. Where they have the cows. I need you to die, please. Please just die. Oh good, your shields have all regenerated to full by now. Excellent. Holy dog shit. Please stop. Go away. Okie dokie. Hello, true ammo boxes. Hello, all ammo boxes that I've loved before. Okie dokie. Please drop more heavy. Drop me all the heavy ammo. Drop me all the heavy ammo in the world. Please? Someone drop heavy? Someone? Anyone? Well, this is getting kind of hairy. I don't think 13 is the max for heavy, or for whisper. If it was, you would see heavy bricks lying around that we couldn't collect. I mean, 13 is probably more than enough for whisper, realistically. Hold on. Maybe 13 is more than enough for whisper? We're just getting very unlucky with drops here. Yeah, maybe it's too many green boxes. Maybe there's so many green boxes that it can't generate any more. Nah, fuck it. That's probably enough. I'm bored. The boop walls are always very, very, very concerning. Uh-oh. I may have effed this up. Nope. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're perfect. We're perfect. Everything's fine. Hi there! Are you my friend? No? Okay. Oh wait, there's a chest down here.
This place was made to hide the Queen's death. Is she that different from Onyx?
What did she say? If the walls start whispering, listen? Actually, now that I think about it. Oh. If we had gone Ascendant, we would have gotten a thing. Wearing full Reverie Dawn while Ascendant. Jesus, that's a tall order. I mean, we can get pretty close. Okay, check this out. This is going to be awesome. Oh, I'm carrying so much crap. My eye hurts. What a desolate place. Like, look at this. This is rad. Where does your soul retreat to when your body is destroyed? What is it like? Is it heaven? I hope not. Or is it bad enough that it makes you want to come back? Yeah, we haven't seen Toland, have we? We have yet to encounter Toland in here. He's usually around somewhere. Toland, where have you gotten yourself to? Are you lost in the Ascendant Plane again? Or, sorry, I suppose the thing that was Toland is around here somewhere. I'm gonna wait for my super to regenerate. You got me for 3 minutes. Thereabouts. AMA, what's up? This fight, way easier than Vorgeth. What up, yo? You know, playing some video, hanging out, getting paid, hauling ass, getting paid. What bow is that and where do you get it? You get it from just doing activities. I think Subtle Calamity can just drop from anywhere. This one has, I'm using Flexible String, Fiberglass Arrow Shaft, Dragonfly, and Explosive Head, and it has a Masterwork draw time. It's pretty good. It does exactly what I need as a Nazareth Sin build Warlock, which is, it kills things real good with Void Energy. New ship of Theseus, who dis? How does one get better at D2? Crucible. Oddly enough, Crucible. Also, this activity. Soloing Shattered Throne. It it rewards good marksmanship and good positioning and situational awareness, none of which I have, but I recognize that I would do better if I had any of those. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Mr. Sargan. What's a positive thing that happened today? I feel this stream has been more or less positive. My parents made it back from Mexico safely. They were on vacation. They just landed back in Victoria. So that's nice. I worry about them. Have we, like it or not, Romanian Maeschaton, we have stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars. Age-old Bond is fine. I find it kind of inaccurate and inelegant after getting used to the one-shot, one-kill gameplay of the bow. Yeah, Scrubbo dies to bears. That's exactly right. Like, it's weird that the Crucible is supposed to make Guardians better. Things I won't work with, dioxygen difluoride. Oh, yeah, foof. It's, yeah, I've read it multiple times. People have been sending it to me for years. As a chemist, there's a lot of stuff I won't work with. Piranha juice? Nah. Life's too short. Nitric acid concentrated? Ugh. Sulfuric acid concentrated? Ugh. I'd rather not. I'm a theoretician. I traded in my lab hood for time on a supercomputing cluster, and I feel it was a much better experience, mainly because I can eat when I work, unlike the practicing chemists, the laboratory chemists, who are not allowed to have a coffee and a croissant while they do their laboratory work. I can, because I can do it in a cafe, because all I need is a laptop that has an SSH connection. It's great. I highly recommend it. Be a theoretician. Lab work is for suckers. What's my opinion on pulse rifles? They're really good. I mean, if you're on PC, they seem good. I die to them in Crucible. I use them when I'm in Crucible because I'm not good with a bow in Crucible. There are people who are good with bows in Crucible. But this will not one-hit kill a Guardian. And with a 680 draw time, you would better be sure you're putting down whatever you're aiming at. I loved Crimson Days. I thought it was the best PvP experience I've had in a long time. Looking at the subreddit, apparently it's garbage, which I didn't know. Because all it is was, hunters with Shinobu's Vow? Or no, Sixth Coyote. One of their exotics, hunters wearing an exotic of some kind, just throwing skip grenades. And I never encountered that because I just killed them. Oh, I do have Le Monarque. It's great. Unfortunately, it occupies the exotic slot in weapons. I have not gone to use my Cawdor gang yet. Apparently the other secret tech that everyone was doing, apparently, were Void Titans wearing armamentarium, just spamming suppression grenades. Never encountered that either. I mean, I may have, but I killed them first. Who knows? Day one playing Crimson Days, I went 10-1 in a couple of hours of play with a friend. It was good. I was running Fighting Lion and 10 paces. My standard PvP loadout of this 10 paces with quick draw and opening shot. I should probably masterwork it, but it's just got reload speed. It's a fine little hand cannon. It hits for about 90 on a headshot, which is a kill after duking someone with a Fighting Lion. Oh yeah, Scrubbo, that was a lot of fun. Have I ever considered acting in dramatic roles? I'm so bad at acting. I'm actually quite a bad actor, IMO. I've tried, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I've done stage theater. That's terrifying for one thing. and it was years ago. But like, comedic actors have a hard, in my experience, at least I have a hard time transitioning to dramatic roles because in comedy you kind of need to sell it to the cheap seats, right? Like your reactions are very important, and for a dramatic actor also their reactions are very important. You have to feel things, and those things have to come out through your face, but those things aren't the same things that a comedic actor transmits by being a rubber-faced fartsmith. Right? I would have to experience emotions like fear and sadness and grief and anger and passion instead of just like, I'm a giant idiot and I don't know what's going on. But I've also heard comedic acting is very hard to do. I don't know. Anyway, here we are. I'll either get this in one or not. Hopefully it's the former. Well, see you on the other side. This is not a good sign. The fact we got one shot out of our Whisper of the Worm, and then it was like, no, you only had one round chambered. Cool. At least we didn't use any consumables other than our heavy ammo. Oh no, most call me Tim. Do you still have time to do it? Yeah, that's about right for Duel and Karu. Could you imagine if we lost our Deathless run on that? Could you imagine? God, that would suck. Well, this one isn't going to work either. Why am I being so bad? Oh my god. Check how many rounds you have loaded in your Whisper of the Worm, Cameron. Then, wait for whispered breathing. This isn't hard. This is basic stuff. Hey, Word. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm a bad actor. People say they enjoy my acting. I don't know if that means it's any good or not. There are enough comments on our videos that just say cringe that I have no idea. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Please stop. Yeah, I guess it's like the one thing they can say that nobody can be like, well, objectively, this is not true, because quality of things is kind of subjective. Taste exists. Quality exists, but sometimes it's hard to evaluate. So one of the safest ways to make yourself feel powerful is by saying that something that's difficult to measure qualitatively is bad. Right? Have nothing to say? Say something that somebody else likes is objectively bad. You can't prove it. So you just make it to make them feel things while you feel strong. I would really like my super to come back. All right, Duel and Karu. Dulan Karu, I'm gonna need you. I need whatever loot you're carrying in your head. Spoilers, there's nothing because I've already gotten it all. Come on, Super. Recharge. I know you want to. I mean, I'm convinced those commenters haven't necessarily left high school. Oh, well, thank you very much, Cultural Geek Girl. I appreciate that. I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed eulogizing Desert Bus that year. This is Shattered Throne, Tezos. We are on the final boss. And let me just explain this fight, actually. So what we have here, the large floating wizard at the back of the room, looking out the window, that's Dulan Karu, the Eternal Return. She is the end boss of this dungeon. You'll notice she is not taken. She is a living hive who is also in this place with us. She is guarded by 3 hive knights, the large, heavy, axe-wielding types, who have about 1 trillion hit points each. Now, Dulan Karu is invulnerable right now. We can't hurt her. And even if we could, she has, what, like literally 1 billion hit points? Something like that? Yeah, she's some kind of asshole and we're here to kill her. Each of the 3 knights drops a buff that allows us to hurt her. The buffs stack. If you get all 3 of the buffs, you hit the damage cap of the game rather easily. Which means that no matter how much damage you are actually doing to her, it will show as doing 999,999 damage, which feels good, but it's actually counting all of it. Also, add spawn. Whenever you kill a knight, a timer starts. When the timer runs out, the knights become invulnerable. A giant crystal spawns. You have to kill the crystal. That resets the encounter. You can do that up to 3 times, I think. And when you pick up one of the buffs, it puts a debuff on you. The buff counts down. The damage buff counts down. When it expires, you expire with it. So you have to kill... To solo it, you have to kill all 3 knights within seconds of each other, pick up their buffs, and then lay down an almighty ass-kicking on Dulan Karu in the few seconds you have before all the other ads kill you. So that's the encounter. It's a pretty simple tank and spank. Digital card games, Hearthstone, Shadowverse. I mean, that could be quite interesting. Like, I'm not super familiar with Hearthstone, but my experience with it was that they were allowed to do a lot of things that Magic struggles with, i.e. patching problematic cards, rather than having to ban them. Also, they're able to do a lot of RNG stuff that slows down Magic games quite a lot if you introduce a lot of it. Things like dice rolls or coin flipping, right? They do, from my recollection of Hearthstone, and I haven't played it in a while, but they do a lot of things where this creature attacks a random creature on the other side, and if you had to do that and you had like 3 of them in Magic, you would have to be like, okay, this one attacks that one, and this one attacks that one, and now I've forgotten. But Hearthstone manages that all for you. So that's kind of an interesting design space they're able to exploit. Anyway, our super's up. Let's kill these guys and go home. Or I could just die to an enormous volume of fire from trash. Just die to an enormous volume of fire from trash. Getting a 5 in AP Physics or getting average grades in AP Chem and AP Bio. You're having forecasting tomorrow. If you're going to major in physics, your high school marks don't matter. Is all I can say. If you want to major in physics, I would highly recommend you know a bit of programming, you know a lot of math, you're familiar and comfortable with physics, and you have good study habits. That's not the exciting answer to that question, but honestly, having good study habits, and I suspect you do if you're asking about your AP marks, right, what it's better to focus in, the best answer to any problem you're having in university with regards to academics and like what best to do is it's best to have good study habits, good nutrition, and get a good night's sleep. Also exercise. That isn't supposed to sound condescending, and I'm very sorry if it does. But that was what kept me afloat when I was doing my degrees. AP can't, as Tacitus Vigil says, AP can help with transfer credits, which can take some pressure off you in your first year. I mean, it's nice to get. If nothing else, it will help you. Even if you don't get the transfer credit, at least you'll be familiar with the material. Don't let that allow you to get bored with it. All right, let's do this. Well, there's one of them down. That's a problem. There's 2 down. There's 3 down. Okay, here we go. Here we go, baby. Lucky she's got a giant head. Easy peasy, got it in one. So that's how you solo Shattered Throne. If you're eternal, how does one return? Good question. Interesting answer. Have you ever read the works of Milan Kundera? Wrote a book, mid-20th century, called The Unbearable Lightness of Being. It's not the origin of the idea, but it puts it fairly succinctly. When it says, light like a bird, not like a feather. The idea is that either our actions have... How to start? Either the universe repeats or it doesn't. Either the universe goes on forever and winds down, or it ends in a big crunch and repeats. These are 2 possibilities. I mean, either something is green or not green. Either the universe repeats itself or it doesn't. And if it repeats itself, does that make our actions infinitely weighty or infinitely meaningless? Right? So in a universe where things repeat themselves, do our actions take on more meaning or less? Did we just end the cycle or did we just start the cycle? As it turns out, both. Point being, This is neat. I liked it. Apparently that only took us 1 hour. Huh. Neat. That's probably a very bad explanation of that text. It's good. A girlfriend gave it to me once. And I didn't absorb it well. But it's one of those gifts that you get. Like, 1 year for Christmas, randomly, I got sent a copy of a Murakami book, randomly, from an ex. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. Anyway, the point being, all of the things that we've been shown are neatly integrated into the Shattered Throne dungeon. We see Savathun's murder battery in action. We see how it's built and how it's maintained and where it goes and what it's doing. And I think that's cool. I don't really have a so what for it yet because the story is still being revealed to us very slowly as we repeat things. And when you're in the Dreaming City, the Techians and the Awoken Corsairs keep telling you like that they're trapped here, right? They can't change anything, that they feel helpless. But some of them take comfort in that. They know that things can only go so wrong, but they keep telling you that your paracausality allows you to break out of that, and they're trusting you. And what your paracausality is allowing you to do is learn. We are learning as we go through this. Every time we repeat the cycle, we learn a bit more about what's going on. And I'm like, cool. That takes one of the recurring problems in these games, that you have to kill Ragnaros every week. Good thing he respawns for some reason. And it gives it a rationale in game. And that's kind of all I really want, is I want a rationale for why things are the way they are. And this is an interesting one. That maybe this blind pursuit of loot is actually destructive. Maybe the gameplay loop, is in itself harmful, right? This eternal war, maybe war bad. Maybe the treadmill of loot is actually destructive and bad for the universe. And I like that. Maybe it's how the bad guys operate. Maybe the murder trapezoid is bad. I think it's a bit more complex than that, because the villains in this setting have their rationale for doing things the way they do, right? They're motivated. They have motivations. They feel like people, even if you're like, they're clearly evil people. They're clearly evil people. I don't like them or respect them or want to do what they are doing, and I want to stop them. But they do have a reason for doing what they do, and I appreciate the fact that they have an ethos. Anywho, that's going to wrap up the stream here. I don't know where this is headed, but I like the way they're handling it. Let's thank everyone who subbed and gave bits. Oh my god, there's so many of you. TK Raptor resubbed for the 25th month. Just the Clippy has subbed, courtesy of Sarah Serinde. Hey. Yomidian is a brand new subscriber. Welcome to the channel. Malady Dark has resubbed for the 20th month. Have to go print off things, but we'll catch the VOD later. Less than 3 Cam. Well, less than 3 you too. Mola Molifant resubbed for the 7th month. Hey friends, time to listen to the dulcet tones of Cam waxing poetic about sword logic. Vias has resubbed for the 19th month. Cam stream. Gravity Pike has resubbed for the 59th month. 59 months, that's nearly 5 years, and that's terrible. Well, I thank you. Toshar resubbed for the 32nd month. Yay, in-depth conversation about Vor. Oh right, we had that conversation. Content warning for the last raid wish. Vor? Kind of? I don't know. You get eaten at one point. Narcogen is resubbed for 7th month. For a 7th month. Swords don't care about your logic. True. Joyful Chaos is reset for the 27th month. Maximum Cameron. Jamsian is a brand new subscriber. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for deciding to support us. 42 Milliways has come back for the 16th month. Thanks for all you do. Yeah, I guess it's not really Vor. You aren't being swallowed. You're just rummaging around inside a corpse. It's only Vor if you both enjoy it? Oh, well, good to know. I don't partake. Mathis has resubbed for the 6th month. Butts has resubbed for the 15th month. Hawkeye437 has resubbed for the 5th month, saying, oh, 5 months. What's up? Triumph. Aslinia has resubbed for the 3rd month. Gekyoryu has resubbed for the 61st month. Whoa, Storytime with Cam is my favorite. I enjoy doing it too. Aquinas0 has given us 100 bits, saying, you got me to pull out reference books. Half bits. Oh, I love that. I love it. Forced Reject resubbed for the 30th month. As someone unversed in many sci-fi lore, I will just say this. For the Emperor! Metal boxes. Sindri. Sorry. Tauruan has just subbed. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for deciding to support us. E-Block has given us 52 bits. Everything Explodes, the greatest place on Earth. Rackmount Rambo has just resubbed for the 6th month. Luminaire P, hey Lumi, has resubbed for the 27th month. How's the Deathless going? Failing. Womp womp. I'll try again tomorrow. Omega Laron has resubbed for the 62nd month. Much appreciated. Agent Magic Master has resubbed for the 62nd month as well. So many 62 months. Has that been our entire stream life? Is our channel 62 months old? Swag Leaps has resubbed for the 29th month, saying, honk. Wandering Disciple is subbed for the 7th month. Destiny has bows? I thought it was just guns. Also, hi. Oh, my super recharged. Celesta Rose is resubbed for the 9th month, saying, had a rough day, but hearing Cam's story hour has helped. Thanks. Well, thank you. I hope your day improves. Mr. Morpheus is cheered with 160 bits, saying, Guardians miss out on the joy of the last known record being sounds of metal snapping. Ruh-roh. Or their last known record being sounds of metal snapping. Ruh-roh. This is a reference that I love to an apparent real record made by the American Transportation Ministry. I don't know what you call it, but it was the last recorded message from a ship in a storm, where it was transcribed as sounds of metal snapping, unidentified crew member 1, Ruh-roh. It makes me happy. It makes me really happy. It didn't make them happy. It's very bad news for the people on that boat, but I want to have the presence of mind for my last words to be Ruh-roh, rather than Nyah! Or something. Or maybe, where was I? Wordnay has reset for the 62nd month. Something, there must be a strongest one. Is it the architecture of these spaces? Why are you leaving? Hey, Toland. Alonzo Swift has reset for the 26th month. Just decided to poke my head in, and I'm seeing some very panicked head clicking. It's true. Lucadoo is a brand new subscriber. Hey, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Scrubbo Dies to Bears came back for the 17th month. I never knew what to put here. Neither do I. Romanian Myescaton gave us 1,000 bits. Wow. I read a theory online that if you give Lur bits, it breaks the Dreaming City curse. Worth a shot. Thanks for a fun stream and suffering through Shattered Throne. Well, thank you. Sir Biffalo Esquire is a brand new sub. I've seen you around. Thank you. I don't think you're brand new, but thank you for subbing. Nightbook1 gave us 100 bits. Classic Nightbook. Envoy of Goats subbed for 16 months. Yockelhop1234 resubbed for the 65th month. It's older than that, Cam. Failhammer subbed for the 65th month as well, saying the Lure stream has stream life at least 65 months. Wow. And Terran Dragon cheered with 200 bits, saying, bits for a fun stream. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Loading Ready Run will resume its broadcast day tomorrow morning with... Is it 9 o'clock? Is it still 9 o'clock? No, I thought James did 9 o'clock this morning. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. with more charming, interesting people playing video games moderately well. Hopefully. Got lots of good stuff coming up for you. So come back, y'all. You hear? There was one more thing I wanted to show you. That's right. It was a Truth to Power tab. Was it this one? This one. This was a cool thing I thought they did. This is a Choose Your Own Adventure. This is an earlier Truth to Power tab. You experience a vivid hallucination. You are standing in the courtyard of the tower. You are without armor or weapon, and your senses seem more vivid than usual. Under your tongue is the taste of salt. To look down into the last city, go to A. To move deeper into the tower, go to B. So you can keep doing this. But what if you don't? What if you don't? What if you don't obey? What if you break the sequence? Because you can go to C from B, but what if you just go to D? What if you just go to E? If you are reading the options in linear order rather than making choices and following the go-to instructions, you have perceived these events as a Vex might. Go to L. If you continue reading in linear order rather than go to L, then go to I. Guardians make their own fate. But what if the process by which they decide upon their own fate could be understood and manipulated? This one has no go-to instructions. And I was like, fucking rad. This is all I want out of video games. This is all. This is it. Here we are. It was like the other thing that made me stupidly happy for a very dumb story written by somebody who's okay, but it was this book called Anathem by Neil Stevenson, and it was set on this alternate Earth, and every chapter began with a definition of a word that is in common usage on this other Earth, but is not in our Earth because the guy felt like he wanted to write Klingon. And at some point, the characters go to this place. They've been looking for this place. They arrive at the place. When they get to the place, they find out the place is not what they thought it was. And you turn the page, and there's no definition. Because what you thought you know is now all up in the air. And I'm like, you got me. This got me. This got me in very much the same way. When you killed Riven, she granted your wish to see the city made safe, but as all wish granters do, she perverted that wish, opening the dreaming city to Dulan Karu. When you defeated Dulan Karu in turn, I reset the entire dreaming city to keep her permanently occupied battling you. You must use these loops to find a way to permanently destroy her. Medusa's body falls silent in your arms. To ask for clarification, go to G. To lay Medusa's body to rest, go to K. To refuse the metaphor of Medusa's body and scour the crashed AI for raw information, go to L. You bring Medusa before Rahul. He sniffs. Another battle trophy. Pre-collapse, post-foreboding, a covert intelligence designed to watch over a high-risk colony mission. Allow me to decrypt her for you. He issues you several tokens, a rare quality fusion rifle, a shader, and a letter. The letter reads, achieve light level 999 and defeat Dulan Karu in a one-person fire team to unlock the true ending of the Dreaming City. I think that might be a lie. The Vex compromise your ghost. Your body releases itself into a pool of saline and slime, and your ghost delivers your soul to the Axis mines. Go to A. If you have 100 points when you read this, go to X. Cool. Anyway, see y'all later. Peace.